Morning everybody, this is Des and Lauren, and this morning we're going to be chatting about something rather prideful.
And this month has been an interesting one. We've been bombarded with news from all over about this month in the world, where someone decided that a group in the communities of the world would have an entire month dedicated to them, and this has been put out by many governments as a mainstream thing, and to varying degrees around the world. I suppose in Africa and South Africa where we live, the focus has been on protecting people that is not part of our mainstream society and making sure that they are not attacked, abused, etc. And this is very, very important.
Well, firstly, I know a lot of people don't agree with me on this one, but I find nothing more condescending than having a day dedicated to
yeah, exactly.
Like Women's Day.
I mean,
and
even
Mother's
Father's Day, I find it extremely annoying. I mean, these things should be normal. You shouldn't dedicate a day to it, in my opinion, and people might not agree with me on that either. But I don't look forward to Father's Day. Every day my kids cherish me and my wife cherishes me, and it should be the same way for Mother's Day and all of those things. To dedicate a day to it, I think there's mentally something wrong. The fact that it has to be brought out there. All people should have a right to live their lives as adults as they see fit. But when it comes to children, it's a very different thing, isn't it?
Very different, yes. And I think that's where this entire agenda gets very personal when it gets put into the school curriculum. And that's something that's been the case for a long time, and it's just intensifying. Where instead of children going to school for academic pursuits, they are being taught a literal ideology. And it's starting to become not just politically incorrect, but almost illegal to teach that man and woman are a biological fact.
And in fact, a teacher was recently fired for stating exactly that.
Not in
on
this
a
country,
TV show. Not that was in the US. But one of the US states is trying to pass a bill where if parents don't allow their child, their young child, that is believed to be transgender, to transition to a new sexuality, that they would be seen as child abusers, and the child can be removed from them. And this is where we are way past crossing the line. I think many lines have been crossed already. Protection is super important to anyone from any community under any circumstances. And people should not be victimized for the life they choose to live in adulthood. But that is the key.
Well, people need
adulthood, right?
People need freedom to live however way they choose.
Yeah, exactly.
100%. And should not be
and should be protected to do that. Yeah.
Adults.
But when I walk down the street naked, I will be locked up. I will be removed from society. Why is that?
Because you're offending my eyes.
So there's certain rules in general society, and this is where common law comes in, where you're not going to allow certain things. And it's interesting that around the world, in certain places, certain people are now allowed to do things that I find grotesque in front of children.
Well, here's an unpopular truth, unpleasant truth. Those that are the most political active will get their way in
Always. So learn from this, what Lauren is saying now. Those that shout the loudest and make the most noise, become the most unbearable to listen to, will get their way in politics.
Throughout history, it's just been a handful of active citizens that have managed to pass a law here and there. And the majority of normal people decide not to get involved in politics because they decide it's not for them. And that's how family values go down the toilet.
And this is why you had to start Leave Our Kids Alone, to actually try and get more parents involved, and you got over 130,000 parents involved.
Yes, and it was about, I realized,
in a very short space of time.
Before the pandemic took over, it was about 3 to 4 months of very intense work. I did nothing else but work on Leave Our Kids Alone. And we got, in 50 municipalities, I think, we got parents activated to, on the State of the Nation address, the day of the State of the Nation address, activated to take to the streets literally in an effort to bring awareness to the entire cause of getting comprehensive sexuality education out of the school system, which is a UNESCO initiative which was funded
from outside the country.
It was funded by the United States. I can't even remember what it stands for. USAID. USAID. It was
USAID.
Funded by
under
USAID.
Donald Trump at the time.
Under the Donald Trump administration. So for all the Donald Trump lovers out there, he wants our South African kids to learn comprehensive sexuality education. Think about that next time.
And his wife actually went on an African tour to promote this. And many people might be upset by us saying this, but you know, the history, it doesn't lie. And at the end of the day,
no. People's actions don't lie.
Yes.
So instead of listening to someone else's opinion about a person, see what that person actually does.
I always say, look at the evidence. It's fairly straightforward. And in this case, I'm concerned about what's happening around the world. Where in Canada, for instance, you are raising a flag that represents a specific community, a tiny community, less than 1%, okay, of society in between the two Canadian flags. Why that would need to be done is ridiculous. And people that are gay and lesbian are standing up against this. They don't want to be associated with what is happening to kids anymore, and they have started their own movements to fight this. I applaud them. You know, within our movement, there's many gay and lesbian people, and we shouldn't even have to say that, because they believe in male and female.
Well, a person's orientation is private.
Yeah, exactly.
And separate to the identity ideology.
Absolutely.
Infiltrating schools and
so
society.
They are sick and tired of being identified and labeled in a certain way. And there are people becoming hateful towards us. And this is polarizing. It's problematic, where pride flags have been burnt in certain places. And that should be unnecessary. People should be left to do what they want. And for people to go to that extreme, it becomes polarizing and unnecessary. And it's unnecessary that you shove what you want to do on a public platform, in public streets, in people's faces, where kids can walk, etc. I don't want my kids to see a man gyrating and twerking with a G-string on in front of my child. I don't think it's okay, or it's acceptable or decent. And I will protect my kids from that. So anyone that wants to force that into the public eye, they have issues, and it becomes more serious, and this is why we need to talk about it. So I want to protect everyone's right to live their life, their adult life, as they wish.
And then protect children.
And then protect children. That's very important, and I think that's the main message we want to bring you. So tell us in the comments how you feel about this, how you've experienced this month up until now. We're 2/3 through it, and thank you very much for watching and supporting this channel. Do consider joining and becoming a member on this channel, and then you will see us on Thursday evening at 7 o'clock for our live chat. And subscribe, like and share this video.